Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive with us.
It's great to be back.
We're diving into a topic today that I think is really important and something that I know a lot of our listeners are really interested in,
Yeah.
and that is the ethics of technology.
Absolutely. And specifically, we're looking at a tool
Right.
called the Open Ethics Canvas as a way to kind of think through how to practically build ethical technology.
Yeah, and I like what you said there about it being a practical tool because I think so often
Mm.
when we talk about ethics, it's very theoretical. It's like,
Right.
what should we be doing? How should we be thinking about this? But it doesn't necessarily translate into like,
Totally.
okay, but what are the concrete steps
Yeah.
that I, as a developer or as a product owner,
Right.
can take to make sure that what I'm building is actually aligned with my values?
And that's what's so cool about this. It's a downloadable, reusable template.
Yep.
So they actually have a version 1.0 and they're working on a version 2.0. So they're iterating on it constantly. But it's something very tangible that you can have and look at and use.
And it's not just a PDF that's sitting on a website somewhere that nobody ever looks at.
Right.
It sounds like it's actually a living document.
It is.
So tell me a little bit more about like what's actually on this canvas.
Yeah, so it's essentially a series of prompts and questions that are designed to make you think critically about the different ethical implications of whatever you're developing.
Okay.
So, for instance, if you were developing a facial recognition app, it might push you to think about, okay, what is the potential for bias in the algorithms that we're using?
Right.
How are we ensuring data privacy? What are the security risks involved? Could this be misused in some way that we haven't even thought of?
It's forcing that conversation
Yeah,
between developers and product owners and even users potentially
totally.
to happen before these things become real problems in the world.
Exactly. It's getting ahead of the curve instead of, kind of doing that, oh, we didn't think about that moment.
Right. And hoping that nothing bad happens.
Exactly.
So it's interesting that they have this in a template form because, one of the things that I think is really important about ethics is that it can't just be this like top-down thing.
Right.
It has to be something that everybody on the team feels empowered to talk about and contribute to.
Totally. And one of the things I love about this project is that it's under an attribution share like 4.0 international license.
Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I have no idea what that means.
Basically, it means it's open source.
Okay.
So anyone can use it, anyone can adapt it. They can share their modified versions as long as they credit the original creators. It's about building a collaborative kind of ecosystem around ethical technology development.
I love that. And, we talk a lot on this show about the importance of transparency.
Yes,
And it sounds like that's like baked into the DNA of this project.
absolutely. And they even take it a step further. They have this thing called a self-disclosure schema.
Okay, what is that?
It essentially encourages developers to publicly kind of show their work and be open about their commitment to ethical practices. So this could look like publicly sharing their responses to the Canvas prompts or being really upfront about their data collection practices or even having badges on their website that show that they've adhered to certain ethical standards.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's like almost like a certification process in a way.
Yeah, exactly.
Where you're like, we've gone through this process.
We've thought about this.
We've considered these things.
Yeah.
And we're putting our stake in the ground and saying, like, this is important to us.
Exactly. And this is all the work of the Open Ethics Initiative,
Okay.
which is a nonprofit organization based out of Estonia.
Estonia. Wow.
I know, right?
That's not usually where you think of like cutting edge tech ethics coming
I
from.
know, it's so cool though, right?
It is cool.
Like this small country really making waves in this space.
And I guess it just goes to show you that this is a global issue.
It is.
That it's not just something that, Silicon Valley needs to be thinking about or
Right.
big tech companies in China need to be thinking about. This is something that affects all of us.
Absolutely. And, true to their mission, they are all about transparency.
Yeah.
Their contact information, their funding sources, it's all readily available on their website. So they're really walking the walk.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like the Open Ethics Canvas is a really valuable resource for anyone who's building technology.
I think so.
It's practical, it's action-oriented, and it really encourages a more thoughtful and responsible approach to development.
Yeah, it really does. And it kind of begs the question, if you were designing something that could potentially impact millions or billions of lives,
Right.
what ethical principle would you prioritize above all else?
That's a great question.
Something to ponder.
Something to think about.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for diving into that with us today.
Of course, my pleasure.
And thanks to all of you for listening, and we will catch you next time.